Alrighty, so good morning everyone. Welcome to the InfoChip Support Weekly Webinar. This week we are going to be going over how to create customers, customer logins, and locations in the InfoChip system. Just quick details about the support team. Christian Lowe is our technical support manager, as well as the onboarding specialist. He's been with InfoChip for about 8 years now. He's been put in charge of kind of bringing on new customers and making sure that they get up and running with the system and are successful. My name is Matt Clarkson. I have been here for 3 years. I'm the technical support analyst and training expert. So whenever you call the support line or send in an email to support@infochip.com, that comes directly to me where I'm able to help you out as best I can. Just a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be covering creating a new customer in your InfoChip account, creating read-only logins for your customer so that they're able to access their data through the web portal or through the mobile apps, and then creating locations for that customer to be able to section off their data into different locations to ease them in being able to filter down their data when looking for inspections or for particular assets. Alrighty, so to add customers into the system, you just need to have anything but a read-only login. Of course, with a read-only login, you're only going to be able to look at the data in the system. But if you're a user account or an admin account, it's just going to be under this admin maintenance drop-down up at the top, and then customers. So from the customers page is going to give you the list of all the customers you currently have in the system. If you're searching to edit a particular customer or anything like that, and you have kind of a big long list, I've only got 16 in here now, but if I had a big long list of customers, I can use this binocular icon on the right-hand side just to do a quick search for whichever customer I'm looking for. If I need to export my list of customers, I have this nice customer report button on the right-hand side as well. Basically going to give you a list of all of your customers' information and a list of all of the accounts assigned to each customer. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to click the Add Customer button on the right-hand side if we're going to add a new customer into the system. From there, very straightforward. You're just going to start entering in your information about the customer you're adding into the system. For today, we're just going to do ABC Lifting Company. And then just enter in whichever information is pertinent to your customer ad. Once you've got all of that information in there, you can hit Save up at the top if you're not going to create a read-only user for that account just right off the bat. Totally fine if the customer is not really ready to access their information on the web. But if you're creating a new customer in here, it's always best to kind of get one reports user in there so that you can kind of get them right off the bat accessing their information through the web portal or through the mobile apps. Biggest reason for that would be it stops you from having to go in there and send off emails when people are looking for certs, and your customer's not going to have to call you up and go, hey, I need this certification or this inspection emailed off. They'll be able to look it up by asset number and immediately pull up that information from the web. Just below the read-only users, before I go into how to create one, we have our Reorder Contacts here. We'll go over Reorder in a different webinar, but basically what this is it gives your customer the ability to, from the assets page, select a group of assets and submit a reorder request so that the customer is able to request on an order number particular assets with particular attributes and sends that email off to your sales guys, which can generate an order right away. In the last couple of fields down here, you have your notes field, so this is just notes about the customer. Local dashboard comment. So if you put this in, if you put a local dashboard or a global dashboard comment, what it'll do is it'll show up on their dashboard. If you have, announcements or anything like that, you could enter it in there. URL label, if they have a specific URL that they want or the URL text, you can enter that in as well. And then the last section at the bottom is your head office configuration. Head office is if you have a customer that has multiple branches, but the multiple branches don't want to be set up as locations. They would rather be completely independent with one account kind of overseeing everything else. You would use this head office configuration settings down at the bottom. If you're creating a head office account, you would check the checkbox just beside this customer as a head office. If it's a branch of a head office that's already created, you're just going to assign the customer to a branch of the head office by choosing it from the drop-down of your available head offices in your account. But for this customer, we're just going to go with our kind of basic setup here. So the next thing we're going to do as well is we're going to create a read-only user. So your read-only user is going to be able to log in. They're only going to see the assets that are assigned to their account. So anything assigned to ABC Lifting Company is going to be visible by this reports user. They're not going to be able to see any of the other assets assigned to other customers or to your own inventory as well. So very straightforward. All you're going to do is you're going to enter a reports username. So I'm just going to use matt.clarkson at liftingco.com. Reports email. I'm going to use my own email for this, just so that you can get an idea of what this, what the email that gets sent over to the customer is going to look like. And then your reports password is just going to be auto-generated for you here. So once you've got your username and your reports email entered in here, you can hit the plus sign, which is going to add it to the table below. You can review all of your information here just to make sure everything's good. And when you're done creating your customer, you're just going to hit save up at the top. Excellent. So we can see our ABC Lifting Company, which is our new customer that was added in here. And now I'm just going to go to my email quick. And what we can see here is, let's pretend that I'm the customer. I've been sent an email from the person that created my login that I have a new read-only login for my InfoChip account, and all of my credentials are going to be in this email. So my username just at the top, the email that's associated with it, and my password. If you need any password resets, anything like that, they can go through InfoChip support, but you are able to do those password resets for your customers as well, and we highly recommend that they go through you first before contacting support. The reason being is that it is much easier to get a hold of you guys than it is to get a hold of us on weekends or after hours kind of thing. It's easier for you to just go in here and do that password reset. So to do that, you're just going to edit the customer by clicking the pencil icon to the left. Click the pencil icon to the left of their username, and you can generate a new password. When you generate the new password and hit save, it'll send them a copy of that new password that was generated as well. You can also check off to email yourself a copy of those changes in case the customer is not receiving emails correctly. So the last thing we're going to talk about today, just very quickly, is we're going to go over creating locations for our customer that we just created. So same thing, as long as you have a client user account or an admin account, you'll be able to add locations to any customer. Basically, the locations are used just to parse out your customer's data a little bit better. If you add everything to the site location, it can make things harder to filter down. If a customer is looking for a specific asset in a specific building or in a specific yard, they won't be able to find it if you don't have any locations set up and the assets aren't assigned to specific locations. So what we do is we kind of go under this admin maintenance page, go to locations, and we're going to select the customer we want to add locations for. In this case, it's going to be ABC Lifting Company. And we can currently see that they only have the site location. So what we can start doing is if we select site, on the right-hand side here, we can start adding new locations in. So I'm just going to start with building 1 and building 2. So as we can see, I created 2 sub-locations underneath the site location here. So what I can do is I can actually break out building 1 and building 2 into even further into more sub-locations. So if I wanted yard 1 for building 1 and yard 2, and I can keep breaking it down from here, right? I could do sections 1 through 3 if I wanted to. And all this does is it assists your customer in being able to filter out their data if they're looking for something specific. It also helps if you're doing inspections out in the field. You can filter down, if you're in a specific location of that customer site, you're able to filter down the assets that are just located in that location. So that way you can pull up information faster. You're not sorting through thousands of assets in one location. You know, if you start in section 1, you can filter down for that location. It gives you the 25 assets that should be located in there and go through it from there. It really speeds up your process by building this location structure out beforehand. The first time that you go and do an inspection, you are able to add locations on the mobile devices as well. It assists you in keeping everything a little more organized and helps your productivity by having that organization set up before you go out there. So that the next time you go out, maybe that's in 3 months or 6 months, everything is set up in their locations. You can start filtering down and speeds up your inspection process, which not only makes your job easier, makes the customer happier because they're able to get their inspections done quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unmute the rest of the conference call, and we can kind of go over any questions that you guys might have about creating locations or creating customers. Alrighty, so did anybody have any questions about customers or locations? Anything I can answer for you?
No, I'm good.
Keith, you're all good. Renata, what about you? I saw that you joined the webinar a little late there.
Yeah, I was busy with something else.
That's all good.
But no, for me it's okay. The read-only login is just I can add an email from the customer, and that's it. It already generates. It sends an email to him and notify him that he has already an access, right?
Yeah. So if you go, if you have a customer that already exists in the system, what you can do is you can just edit that customer and add a new report login for them. So if I go to customer testing, for example, I can add a new username. So 99% of the time, just use their email as their username. It just makes it easy for them to remember. Your reports email is the email that login is going to be sent to. So you want to make sure that that is a valid email address that you put in there so that they get their credentials. And then, like I said before, the password's just auto-generated.
Okay. So the report username and report email can be the same?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be recommended that it is the same. I was just in my example. I used 2 different ones because I already have a username in the system with my actual email address.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions about locations, customers, read-only users, anything like that?
No.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to go to the last slide here quick. So just so everybody knows, there's a bunch of ways you can connect with us. You can always reach me by email. That's the easiest way to get through. support@infochip.com. It'll create a case so I can reach out to you with any questions or issues you're running into. I can always give a hand as soon as possible. You can reach us by phone. It's 1-877-747-2448. It'll get you right through to the support line, which, again, will be me. You can check us out on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/InfoChipLP. We have our own InfoChip Support Twitter account, which is @InfoChipSupport. And then you can always hit us up on the website, www.infochip.com. And I'm just going to quickly pull up the schedule for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so next week we're going to be going over creating and managing operation forms in your account. So creating certification forms and inspection forms that you're able to use out in the field or at the test bench. And then the week after that, on the 19th, we'll be covering the TSL bulk scanner with the Android app again. So Renata, I know that you were looking for...
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. You missed the last time, so
Yeah.
We'll be covering that on the 19th.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again next week.
Okay, see you.
Bye now.
Do you have a moment?
Bye.
Yep, Keith, just let me stop recording, and I will